The best chats are always the unscripted ones. There are interesting stories all around us, and here's one of them.
Open your eyes, spectacular's right in front of you.
Oh yeah, this is totally unscripted, so we never know where this is going to go.
Dangerous.
This is the unscripted perspective.
Turn the volume
And
up.
here's your host, Phil Parker. Phil Parker. Phil Parker. Phil Parker.
Well, hello. It is another unscripted perspective. And of course, the name is right here, Phil Parker. I'm always the host, seems like, so no change there. And I have an absolutely awesome guest once again, Benjamin Jones. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Philip. So great to be here. I look forward to helping the people listening, providing some value and having a really cool chat. So it should be fun.
Yeah, look, I'm really excited. It's going to be a good chat, considering all of your experience and what we can learn from you about marketing, etc. But you're in Australia, right?
I am. I'm in Perth, Australia, which is west coast of Australia. So if you're listening from the US, it's kind of cool because I'm in your future, which I know the sun's going to come up tomorrow.
Just give me the lottery numbers. That's all I want, dude. Let's kick right in. For those who don't know who Benjamin is, serial entrepreneur and international keynote speaker. He's the co-founder of Titan Marketer, which has helped a wide range of businesses generate millions of dollars in sales with YouTube advertising. He's also founded Youth in Business, which helps kids start and scale businesses that make sales in less than a week. And you just love entrepreneurship and helping business scale. I mean, you're just a really nice guy that wants people to make money. I'm sure you make money as well, but we won't talk too much about that one. The art of YouTube is just lost on me. Honestly, I'm still learning the ropes. This is this live stuff has really kind of kicked off my knowledge acquirement for the wonderful YouTube that's been around, I feel like, forever. But tell me a little bit about that and how you really just got into advertising and marketing.
Yes, really, if we go back a little ways, getting into the online space is really daunting for me. I grew up on a farm, so the idea of getting into online marketing and that sort of thing, my generation grew up without phones at school, so I think I was like late 20s before I had Facebook or anything like that. And my brother at the time, we were doing looking at doing some business stuff, and he was like, "Hey, let's buy online businesses." And I was like, "Oh, there's no way I'm doing that." And so we did. So we got into buying online businesses, which was fun. We sold them up probably about a year or two later. And that's when I started Youth in Business, so teaching kids how to start businesses. And I just wanted to get that out there to as many people as I could. And that's a combination of owning online businesses where I had to figure out marketing. I mean, this is going back in the day when it was all SEO and Facebook was transitioning and Google clicks was super, super cheap, and going back many years. And then sort of it's just evolved as it's come through, right? And I think us getting to YouTube was, we were heavy on Facebook, and that was working really well. And I was filling my own events. So for Youth in Business, we were filling rooms to like 800 people, doing events all around Australia. We did some events in the UK, just trying to get the word out to as many people as we can about youth entrepreneurship. And we had some events booked in, and basically Facebook canceled our account. If you ever run Facebook ads, I'm sure that there's come a time where they've either canceled your account or turned your ads off, right? And this was a problem because we'd already paid for massive rooms and the whole deal, and we just couldn't get the word out. And I was actually heading to China to do some business, and I was away for like 3 or 4 weeks in the lead up. I basically just said to my team, look, hire an agency in Google Ads. We'll run some Google Ads ourselves, see who does better. Let me know when I come back. And this is going back to the days before you had like VPNs. So I couldn't really check in on it very much. Like there's no Facebook, no Google in China, right? But when I came home, we'd actually done really well out of Google and YouTube ads. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. We did better than the agency. So of course we fired them. And then it was just, how do we scale with that? And around the same time, I was doing speaking on a few other people's stages now, asking how we did our marketing. And I was just sort of speaking on it and just helping people without having any clients, if that makes sense, and just sharing from my own experience. And then later on, I teamed up with my business partner, Marcus, and we formed Titan Marketer. And we were just getting heaps of requests of like, hey, how do you guys do your marketing? And yeah, we just started helping people with Google ads and YouTube ads a fair few years ago now. And it's just sort of grown to where it is today. And I think most of those platforms out there in terms of paid ads, like honestly, like Google was really cool in the 2000s. Facebook was really awesome in the 2010s, and they all saturate. They all get super expensive, and YouTube only has about 8 to 10% of businesses on there at the moment advertising, and is the same size as Facebook. And just the targeting's better, the way that you pay for the clicks is better, and it's just the opportunity. I mean, I think at the moment, Google Ads will literally give you $500 worth of ad spend when you spend $500 for a brand new account. Like, when was the last time Facebook did that, right? So
Right.
it really is like, if you're going to run paid ads at the moment and you're not running YouTube, yeah, you're pretty much leaving a lot of money on the table. And so that's where we've been able to really help businesses grow. So
it's an incredible just thing that you're doing as far as the marketing side of it, and pretty innovative. I mean, we all hate those YouTube ads, though. I mean, like, they're the ones that, like, it's doing the countdown. You're waiting for the thing that you really want to watch, and then whatever. But like, legitimately, the catch that you're having with those ads is massive. I don't know how many times I've seen the same ad over and over and over and over and over. And to be honest, even YouTube gives the facility to where, was this a relevant ad? Yes or no. And if it's not, you just click no, and then you never see that thing again. And then you're good, unless you're on without signing into your account, then you're probably going to see it again. But, what is the biggest win for you with those YouTube ads? Because it's really interesting to me, because as far as YouTube goes and all of that stuff, like, it's really become more and more popular. When you think about it, YouTube started not that long ago, or, well, I would say a few years ago, and now it seems like it's gaining more traction because YouTube has done a lot more marketing. In the US, it has YouTube TV, which we actually subscribe to in this house, where you're actually watching live TV. So they're really kind of, when they were bought by Google, it was just boom. It hit the ground running even more. You had this powerhouse behind it, and it's just nonstop wins for this company. So what is it about YouTube that you find most effective, and how do you capitalize on those things?
yeah, so I think the thing with YouTube is why are people on YouTube versus, say, I mean, the big competitor in paid ads is going to be Facebook, right? So, like, what is the difference between someone on Facebook and someone on YouTube? And the difference is, like, Facebook's something you're doing to waste time. You're looking at, like, what people ate for dinner, cats, and whatever other ridiculousness. But it all has to fit in that one feed. Whereas YouTube, you're actually going there to be entertained or educated in some way. So you're looking for entertainment or education. Usually you have your sound on, and it's a bit more of a bigger experience. I mean, obviously now there's YouTube Shorts, which is YouTube's answer to TikTok, and all of that,
Reels and all that fun stuff.
Reels and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I think, like, the way the user, like, who's there, and that also translates into your marketing, right? So where a lot of people go wrong is they get like this salesy Facebook ad and they try and put it on YouTube ads, and it just doesn't work because it's a different platform, right? Different targeting, different people, different
Right.
intent. Yeah, so I think that's really big, and you're right, like, it's absolutely huge. Like, YouTube is growing massively. You look at the amount of, like, the streaming wars are everywhere, right? Like, whether it's Disney Plus or Paramount or whoever, Netflix, they're all going to war for it. But YouTube is basically winning the war on that. I mean, it doesn't
Right.
have the content, but if you were to look at it just as attention, yeah, the amount of attention YouTube gets versus that is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, they've even started to do like rentals of movies and stuff. And And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, all these big streaming platforms. Initially, you're subscribed and that you don't have any ads. And well, the higher tier started out with they didn't have a lower tier. Now Disney Plus is a lower tier. In fact, Netflix is going to release a lower tier against all odds. I actually didn't foresee that happening, but it's one of those things. It's how cheap can we go as far as keeping subscribers? I mean, they've just released this thing where you can't share accounts anymore. So really that lower tier is going to keep the people that are maybe crying about that. But there's a lot of these ad related stuff that's happening. Hulu over here is still a massive platform owned by Disney that, you see the next day shows or whatever, and you have ads and stuff, and you can go for a non-commercial version, but a lot of people don't care enough to do that. Like I'm unless it's a movie, like I hate watching a movie with ads. It drives me mental. Like it's just like I could have watched the movie in half the time that it takes me to watch it when it has ads. But I mean, other than that, like ads and marketing since the dawn of time. I was just watching Undercover Billionaire on CNBC. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch that yet. But it's mental, like this stuff that they come up with in marketing and stuff. Like, what is it that really interests you about the whole marketing world?
Yeah. At the moment, I think the marketing, well, it depends. There's lots of different talk about the way that people do marketing, right? And how to do it. I really like coming from a value perspective, actually helping people with your advertising and providing value. And that aligns really well with me with YouTube. Because people are there to be entertained or educated. The cool thing with that is in your ad, you actually want to have stuff that helps people in the ad before they get to your landing page, right? And I think if we can come from that perspective, we find anyway, the conversion rates are high. You've developed that relationship of trust instead of just being like really salesy and affronting upfront. So that I think that I don't know. I feel is going to be like, we see like a massive uplift in success when people or companies that we work with change their marketing strategy from like in your face to actually providing value. The difference is massive.
What's the question I'm trying to find in my head right now? Honestly, the biggest question for me is always, is it only for big companies? Because a lot of companies that are watching this right now, there's a lot of people who subscribe to the channel that are they're not Nike and they're not like all these big companies. Like the local ads are amazing for me. Like I found out recently just by digging and doing some more research on YouTube that like even someone who is like a hairstylist that is local to an area, they literally can dial it down to where you're getting a demographic within a certain zip code based off of your IP address. Now the VPNs can sometimes kill that a little bit, but a lot of people still don't use VPNs on their phone and things like that. So you can still get those ads out there, but like that is the biggest disconnect for me when it comes to YouTube marketing, is that you're not paying that much and you can create like this small little video like Carol's nail salon or whatever you want to call it, and you can actually get some really good views on these ads that actually get some traction for you and bring some customers in.
Yeah, I think that you're 100% right. And the targeting on YouTube is insane. So what's really cool, there's a couple of cool things, like how you're charged is really fun on YouTube, but I think you don't need, like you say, you don't need a lot of budget, right? So if you're just a smaller business, let's say you want to spend $20, $30 or $100 a day or something like that, you $1,000 a month, a couple of $1,000s a month on marketing. YouTube's a great platform because it actually will work quicker than something like Facebook if you do it correctly. So you can actually just test small, like under $1,000 a month budget and then go from there. And if you are a local business, it's on the Google Ads platform. So you've got all the other things that you can do as well. And I think where that comes in really cool is one of the cool targeting options you can do on YouTube is you can literally, people who are searching in Google search, is you can show them a YouTube ad. And I think that's really powerful. So if you're looking for like, nail salon near me, you can have a YouTube ad that pops up to that person, right? Which is pretty crazy. So the targeting is really good. You don't actually need a lot of money to get started with YouTube ads. I think that's one of the big myths is, I have to create these videos. I mean, you can even do like image-based ads. If you've got some image-based ads on Facebook that are working quite well, you can do discovery ads. So I think there's lots of really cool things you can do with YouTube that a lot of people just aren't aware about at the moment. And you don't need a lot of money to make it work. You're 100% right.
Yeah. One of the bigger wins, I mean, so for someone who's trying to, obviously I don't want to steal the win from your sales either, because people come to you for your expertise, but what do you think are the bigger wins that you find when you walk in, like kind of like when you call the IT network and they're like, make sure your laptop is plugged in, dummy. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like when you walk in, what are the first couple of things that you're looking for really to have those quick wins and supercharge the creation and the ads that are being put out there?
Yeah, so there's probably two things that a lot of people don't realize when they come to YouTube that they need to get right. Okay, the first one is going to be all around the way that you do your ad, the scripting of the ad, and the other one is going to be all around the targeting, like how do you target people. So I'll speak to scripting first. Scripting, like we use a 4-part script process. So it's called elevator pitch, and then hook, elevator pitch, story, close. Now, the way YouTube ads works is most of the time you're going to have pre-roll ads. You're watching your content and you want to skip the ad. You're waiting for the 5 seconds to count down, right? Like we've all been there.
That's me.
So in that bit there, you have to have a hook, and that's what we call the hook. So you have to grab their attention really quick. You got 5 seconds to make it work. Okay. So some sort of benefit laden hook, or what we find works really good is some sort of rhetorical question that has the answer yes to it. So like we will say something like, hey, you sick of burning money on Facebook ads? Yes. Okay, cool. So if that's a problem that you're experiencing, then we can move on to the next bit. And that's going to get past this, that whole skipping part. Now, the thing with the skip is if you're running ads, it's free if people skip. Okay, so if people are skipping your ads, it doesn't cost you anything. So that is great. The next bit that we want to do is have an elevator pitch. Now, this is where we want to have like a really concise, like mini pitch that talks a bit about you, have some credibility, authority, and also talks a bit about, what it is that you do and what they're going to get if they hang around and listen on the ad. So in this example, I'm using like a 2.5-minute ad. So the ad length needs to be about somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 minutes is usually the sweet spot. It can't be too long, but it can be too boring, right? So just coming back a little, if I'm creating that style of ad, the next bit is I need like an elevator pitch. Now, if you don't know what an elevator pitch, it comes from the concept of, hey, if you wanted a promotion, you worked in a high-rise building, you'd get in the elevator with the CEO, you'd pitch him your idea by the time you got to the floor. This is going to go for about 20 to 30 seconds or somewhere in there. Now, the other cool thing to bear in mind is that YouTube ads are free for these pre-roll ads are free for the first 30 seconds. Now, if we did like a start comparison, Facebook ads are free for the first like 3 to 15 max. So you literally get twice the amount of time to get your point across, which before you're charged, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then, so elevator pitch, like one that works for us would go something like, email open rates suck. Search ads are super expensive and how's it go? Search ads are super expensive and Facebook ads are about as reliable as a politician's promise. Hi, my name's Ben. I've helped companies generate millions of dollars with YouTube ads. If you hang around, I'm going to share with you the 3 best targeting options you didn't even know you needed about YouTube ads. And then bang, I'd move into the story, right? So that's like a mini example of that. And then the story part's going to be like, help them with something. So I would share probably the 3 best targeting options they didn't know that they needed, that they can only do on YouTube. So I'd show them what they are. And then lastly, the 4th part is going to be call to action. What do you want them to do? So it could be like, hey, come to my masterclass, or hey, come check out a free call, or whatever it is that you do, right? And then you ask them to do that. And that's how you'd script your ad. So if you can follow that process and in the story, give them some value, your ads are going to be heaps better. So that's the number one mistake. Usually they'll just come with some sort of Facebook ad that'll suck and they'll run it on YouTube and wonder why it doesn't work, right? So if you follow that format, YouTube ads are going to work. The second part to that is the targeting, right? Now, what's really cool with YouTube is, and we call this our credit card out targeting, right? So how do you target someone who has their credit card out ready to buy? It's pretty cool. So the way we do that is we have, it's kind of like an inverted triangle, but at the top of that, we have genuine interest targeting. So people who, maybe you're targeting a 35-year-old mom who likes chocolate, surfing, and cats, something like that. And what you want to do is you want to share them a chocolate that, get them to buy a cat on a surfboard that's made out of chocolate or something. So that would be very much like interest-based targeting. The other two things you can do with YouTube, which a lot of people don't know, is one, target people by income. So literally how much money they earn. So in a postcode, so you could be like, in this postcode, I want to show ads to people who are in the top 10 or 20% of income.
Wow.
And why that's cool is because you can then take someone who's interested in what you do and then make sure they can afford it. Because one of the biggest sales objections that you're going to get in any sales process is, that sounds great, but I can't afford it right now. So this way, you're only targeting people who can afford your products and services. And then lastly, you want to do intent. And this comes down to how you actually target people on YouTube. And the three best intent audiences, if you're going to get started, in market. So people who are already in market to buy the products and services that you want to buy. And Google already has these pre-built. You can find them in the back of Google Ads. The second one would be anyone who visits your competitors' websites. That's really cool. We call that ethically stealing your competitors' traffic. So basically going out to anyone who's visited your competitors' websites, when they come to YouTube, show them your ad. Fantastic. And then lastly, anyone who's on your competitors' websites, channels, or YouTube videos. Okay, so you can target any channel, any video in your niche, put your ads on there as well. So if you combine all those three things together with the right ad format, you'll do well on YouTube ads, right? So
that's cool. I mean, there's so much there. I mean, the good news for everyone is that this stays on YouTube, so you can rewind this after we finish with the live and just replay everything that he just said. But that's insane. The amount of targeting and the things that you can do with YouTube, and the fact that so many people don't know about it. There's a lot of, marketing companies are, I hate to say it, a dime a dozen right now, because everyone feels like they can do that job and market really well for you as a company, etc. But a lot of people are missing the beat and using old formats like Facebook and stuff, which, they still have their weight, but TikTok now is the biggest marketing tool for a lot of companies, and anyone that has done really well with TikTok will know what I'm talking about. But also YouTube, like you were saying, is just this untapped resource, and it's got a new lease on life since Google kind of revitalized it and done a lot of things to it. YouTube Music was huge for a while. Now you've got the TV aspect of it. Now they're just doing a lot with that format, and they're not giving up. There's talk of more and more things coming out for YouTube. So it really is one of those just forums that a lot of people, especially the local, what I really want to hammer home to people is the local small businesses can really benefit from this because of that targeting aspect that you were saying. It feels like it's, radio seems to be one of those things that still goes doing it. But when you look at the traffic that YouTube get on a daily basis, it's insane. It's there's not enough people like Ben in the world that are spreading the word. It's almost, to be fair, Google needs to do a little bit more marketing on that side of things, telling people, hey, why aren't you doing this on YouTube? It's all these small businesses that have really almost been crippled by COVID could really benefit from this stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I think another really cool thing on that, if you're running search ads at the moment, like PPC ads, the cool thing is you can target, and we see a lot of this, people moving to YouTube, right? People who are already running PPC ads, like Google search ads, the cool thing is you can target those same people, but it works out about half to a third of the price with a YouTube ad, right? And that's so if you're a local business who's running search ads, you're not doing YouTube, it's way better. It's heaps more cost effective and has a higher return on ad spend, because if you think about it, like Google ads have like 15 to 30 characters, right? And they all sit at the top of the Google search. And there's like 3 or 4 of them. Most people open 3 or 4 different tabs when they're clicking through, looking at different products and services. You compare that to a YouTube ad, it's the same person that's searching that same keyword, but they've watched a YouTube ad where it's just you. You get to talk to them for like literally a couple of minutes. So the conversion rate's heaps better and the cost per click's like half the price. So yeah, it's helping businesses who are struggling with COVID and they're looking to get an edge on their competitors and they're already running search ads. Yeah, for sure. YouTube is a frontier they should be playing in.
100%. Selena just said Google needs to bring it out more. Agreed, 100%. There's not enough marketing for their marketing tool. It's like, to be honest, the money that can be made from this on both fronts is just insane. Like, if Google did more just legwork on the ground with small businesses, like Google is in every city, I feel like, around the world at this stage. There's an office or a representation there. Do you think there's a reason behind them just kind of keeping this under wraps and just kind of for the select few, or are they just trying to let it grow organically?
I get this question a lot, and I think one of the big things there is, I think it's all about use. Like if you look at like Google Drive and Google Doc and all the different parts that a lot of people use today, they've been around for ages, but it's taken a long time to get users into it to get using it and whatever, Whereas I think YouTube's kind of the same. Like everyone knows about Google ads. I think there's a few barriers to entry with YouTube, to be perfectly honest. I think like everyone knows about Google ads in terms of like the search capabilities and targeting keywords and that sort of thing, right? And YouTube is a part of the Google ads platform. There's like 4 parts in there. There's, shopping ads, search ads, a display network, and YouTube ads. So it's like one segment of their whole ad platform, if you will. So I think what they're hoping for is people will get in there and then they'll create video ads. And the other problem people have is they think, oh, I'm coming to YouTube ads, I have to run these video ads, are going to be super expensive, I have to put all this stuff together, which couldn't be further from the truth. Like most of our clients will literally shoot ads straight off their phone, right? So, and you don't actually have to have really expensive studio type ads. And the reason for that is, think about the users on YouTube. Most of the content on there looks like this. It's like a guy with his podcast mic, or he's shooting videos off his phone, or like whatever. Yeah. Okay, so like you're actually better off coming out as like that type of marketer where you're actually relatable and authentic, because otherwise you just come across this corporate ad that no one cares about, right? So I think like if we can get back to that, like particularly with your ads, shoot your ads from your phone. The phones are amazing these days, and make sure you got good mics. So we use like the Rode Go ones, which are wireless to your phone. They're like $100 or $200 or something.
Right.
But they work really good. And you can create really cool YouTube ads if you follow the script format I shared earlier. Shoot them off your phone and get them up. Like I think that's the barrier to entry. Everyone's like, oh, my salesy Facebook ads don't work there, or it's just a different platform. And I don't think there's enough knowledge out there about how to get out there and do it properly. So it's great that we can come on here and chat about how to get it up. Because the more people we get on it, the better.
100%. And I'm grateful to everyone who's viewing as well. If there's any questions, just to remind you, this is live. So if there's an opportunity that you feel for you to use YouTube ads and you have a question about it, or someone that would benefit from this, Benjamin is the mogul in this space when it comes to YouTube ads. He's generated millions of dollars for companies who without him probably wouldn't have gotten to that feat. So if there's any questions, definitely drop us a comment. So moving on, you didn't just stop at YouTube. You're just itching to make things happen for everyone in the world. And you created, tell us about the youth outreach thing that you did for youth entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so that's been going for probably about eight or 9 years, I'd say, the youth in business. So what we do there is we want to teach kids how to learn the skill set of an entrepreneur, how to become entrepreneurs before they finish school. And a lot of people say, well, you can't really teach entrepreneurship. It's something you're born with, right? And I challenge that a little, because I think there's lots of parts to entrepreneurship that people don't realize. Like, you've got sales, then you've got you got to deal with all the math and the numbers of the business, and you got marketing, and there's like a couple of different components, and all of those things can be learned. So I don't feel it's something that you're born with at all. What I think is cool is that if you can teach kids to actually they have got no time, it's an instant gratification generation. So they just have no patience, right? Today, in today's universe.
Right.
So what's really cool, you got to make kids making sales like straight away. And that's been probably the secret to the whole thing. And so we've been running that for about 7 or 8 years. We've had literally kids have most of them will definitely make sales in the first week. Most of them do about $1,000 in their first month. We've had kids do, $10,000, heaps of them. We have a 10K club within a month. And then we've had kids buy houses before they're 18. We even had one of our kids write a book like How I Made More Money Than My Principal. So it's
can we just pretend
crazy.
I'm a kid and just show me how to do that? Because I'd love that. That 10K a month is perfect. Like, that's exactly what I want. That's perfect. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this as well is like, 10K a month for a kid. Like, I'll do it. Just teach me. Teach me, Obi-Wan. I need to know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, oh man, it's great. I mean, we love it because it's just, honestly, it's the most fulfilling thing like I've ever been a part of. And the cool thing with that is, I think that what we want to teach them most of all is what I would call the skill set of an entrepreneur, right? Like, most kids today, they go to school, school pretty much teaches you how to trade your time for money and get a profession. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they don't really teach you a lot of business skills, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then you can go to university or college and be taught business by people who literally never started a business in their life. Which is, I think is a little sad. And I think there's just this missing gap there on like how to learn entrepreneurship. And a lot of us had to learn it the hard way, like myself included. Like, I was an electrician for many years, and I had to go out there and figure it out, and made heaps of mistakes and all sorts of stuff. And I think that, that's why I think people think you have to be born to be an entrepreneur, is because you have to just like crawl through glass to figure it out. And I think it's just an education gap. Like, if we taught kids how to start a successful business when they were young, even if they didn't make millions of dollars, they have that skill set going out there into the universe later on, and they'll go out and crush it, right? Which is really cool. So I think just coming back to the thing I really want to teach kids is that skill set of an entrepreneur, because let's face it, if Elon Musk, Richard Branson, or I don't know, Jeff Bezos went bankrupt tomorrow, how long do you think it would be before they were like millionaires again? Well, like a week, a couple of days, like a month at max. And the reason for that is they have the ability to turn their ideas into money. Okay.
Right.
And that's what we want to teach kids. So one of the first things that we do, like when we're teaching kids how to start business, and you guys can all do this at home, like, is just get out there, give your child $20 and tell them to turn that into as much sales as they can in a 30-day period. And you'll be really surprised what they do. Obviously, if you can give them a bit of grounding on like some business principles or how to sell and stuff, that's going to help, right? But But realistically, like, even if they just bake something in their kitchen and they went door knocking in their street, they're going to make a whole bunch of sales, like probably well over $100 in an afternoon. Okay?
And truthfully,
And I mean, that's just
like a little smiling kid at your door offering you cookies or whatever. I mean, you do it just because it's like, if you're a parent, like, you're just like, well, go on. How much is it? $1 or $2 or whatever. But honestly, like, going back to what you were saying, the program that I'm watching on CNBC that we were mentioning earlier, Grant Cardone basically goes undercover as a guy, just a regular guy. He's given $100, a cell phone, and a truck, and that's it. And he has to try and make $1 million business in 90 days. And I'm actually watching the show right now. And like, to speak to that point about, if people were to go bankrupt or whatever, how quick they would get money back. Some people just have that skill. They just have that ability to see an opportunity and seize the day, and their mindset and their attitude is just so positive that they can't fail. And I'm trying to think. I think it's Vaynerchuk. Trying to think of his first name.
Gary.
Went out. Yeah, Gary. That's it. Yeah. He went out and he was doing the like the yard sales and stuff, buying stuff that was like just crap to people, but turn it around and selling it on eBay and making a profit and doing stuff like that. So there's major opportunities out there for people to do this stuff, but it's some people just don't want to take that risk, and it's fear of failure, I think, that stops a lot of people from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a good. Most people, like my kids go to school, so I'm going to bash school a little bit, right? But I mean, realistically, we're taught like if we fail on a test, that's bad, or like failing is bad, and I think culturally that's a massive problem. Whereas in business, like you won't meet a 7-figure business owner that hasn't had some massive failures along the way, and if they do, they're either really lucky or lying.
True.
So
that's
well, I haven't met too many people. So, and I think that's the thing. Like, I think we're just taught not to fail. And this is why I'm so passionate about if we get kids to learn some of these business skills when they're young, they might try something. They might, knock on 4 doors and hear 3 no's before they get to a yes, right? And I think that's the thing that we need to get kids being okay with failure and learning to succeed. And I think one of the big concepts I think that works really well is that whole sell it before you build it concept.
Right.
So if you're watching Undercover Billionaire or something like that, you'll see Grant, and I've actually seen the whole series, loved it, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things they do that you'll notice is they literally sell things that they then have to deliver on later, right? They're not out there creating the better logo or the better product or the better whatever. They literally have to go out there and make the sale and then deal with, delivery, right? And I think that's like we have this whole thing about sell it before you build it with the kids when they're starting their businesses and stuff. And that concept, like if you're just starting out, like a business without sales is a hobby, right? So stop fixing logos and that sort of thing and go out there and learn how to sell and make something happen. So I think that's one of the big missing parts to what they teach about business schools, particularly like, I had some professor of business or something ridiculous in one of my events just recently. And one of his questions was, you can't teach people how to sell it before you build it because they haven't got a business plan yet. I was like, sales doesn't care about your business plan, man. Like you don't need to create a business plan and wait 12 months to be profitable. Just go out there and make a sale and be profitable today, So I think that, and if you watch those guys, they know that, right? So they've only got 90 days to turn into $1 million. So they're out there trying to make sales and make it happen. I think that's the bit that we need to teach kids. So
Right. And then also just the belief system that they can deliver on those things, because sales before delivery is, it can end pretty badly for people who aren't really delivering. So, like we probably should have had a disclaimer when we started talking about that, but it like legitimately, delivery is part of that sales process. So, if you're selling logos and stuff like that, that's slightly different to cookies or something like that.
So obviously, food products you have to have. Well, you don't have to have them right there. But you have to have the ability to make them. If you're selling how to mow people's lawn, you need to have a lawnmower, right? So obviously, like be ethical about it. Obviously, have the ability to deliver and have that worked out. Don't go selling things you can't deliver on. That's just called fraud.
Yes. Yeah. That's what fraud is. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. No, honestly, I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing for kids. In the US here, you got kids on the side of the road selling lemonade and stuff like that. And it's always a test of character whether you pull over and risk ingesting whatever they've created in that lemonade. But to be fair, it's always nice to see, because that like these kids are hustling. They've been told, okay, if you want to do stuff, you got to make money and you have to have money to do stuff. Even my 4-year-old tonight, it was hilarious. He's so we're kind of living with my in-laws, and because we're trying to make our way onto the property market. I think everybody feels that pain. It's even harder now with COVID and all that fun stuff because lenders just don't want to look at you. But so he knows that, okay, so the question was, so how much money do we need? And I was like, well, nothing that you can understand, like 500 grand, like, there you go, that's the number. And he's like, okay, so we don't have that, so we got to figure this out. He's literally 4-year-old saying these words to me. And then he goes, so mommy and daddy need to work more because that's the only way we're going to get this money. And I'm just like, okay, but then you're never going to see, like, you're barely ever going to see mommy and daddy. He goes, I'd be sad for a little bit, but then I'd have a house. It's like, okay, wow, you understand the concept of sacrifice. It's hilarious. But I mean, just kids nowadays are more resilient and adaptable, and like, legitimately, if I told him, hey, go sell these rocks, he'd figure it out. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, he'd be phoning people he knows, FaceTiming people, hey, do you want to buy a rock? And I guarantee you someone would buy one. That's just the way he is. But yeah, I 100% agree. It's kids need to learn more life skills than anything. I crib and moan about my schooling growing up and how literally I have not used half of the stuff they taught me in school. Like algebra, what are we doing with that? Like, literally not ever. I've never stood on the side of a street and had someone ask me an algebra question or used it to give directions or anything like that. It just doesn't work. So, I mean, granted, it's probably used in much more complicated fields, but I'm just not there. So I'm just bitching about learning stuff I don't need. But then therein lies the issue, is that people are being taught things that maybe they don't need to use or whatever. So kids learning entrepreneurship is actually really useful because they are going to be skills they're going to use. They are going to go out into the world and have to make money of some description. And they're going to use these skills of adaptability and resilience to really go out there and even if it's not owning their own business, they're going to be able to know the concept of business and be able to be managers or something of that nature and be really successful at it. So it's pretty cool what you're doing.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I think the thing too is, like, even if they don't become business owners, like, let's say they go to college and become a dentist, lawyer, doctor, or whatever, right?
Right.
Even if they become an employee for a big, massive corporate firm, they go into like investing, finance, or something like that. The thing is, if they've learned business skills at a young age, they'll understand that, you get paid based on the value that you provide, usually. Okay.
Right.
And if I can, like, stamp out entitledness in the next generation, like, that will be my job done. Um, so, but yeah, I mean, that's a big one, right? Like, if people understand the business behind it, like, hey, the business makes money when we make sales and these things happen, and you need to be part of that and get on board with the vision of it all, and you understand as a concept what's going on there, instead of being like, I'm rocking up between 9 and 5 and you need to pay me, and I may do my job if you ask me nicely. Like, I think if we can all get on the same page with, like, why is the business here and how does it work, and you understand that as a concept at a young age, you're just going to be a better employee, just to contribute more to society in general. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty
100%
passionate
agree
about
with
it.
that. Yeah, you know what? We could do a whole podcast just on that alone, dude. I'm not even joking. There are too many people out there that just feel entitled and they rock up to work, like you said, and it's just pay me, and they've no really drive or anything like that. And we've all worked with those kind of employees as well. So it's like, it's an interesting take on kids learning entrepreneurship. Actually, I never even thought that would be a huge effect. But it is. So yeah, I'm all for that even more now. I'm like, okay, maybe I will stop and drink that lemonade now. You know what I mean? It's I might be sick, but I have contributed a better employee to the world. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. I think that's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing the perspectives that you don't kind of pick up on until, like you just said, the whole, like, better employee. Like, actually, that's a really good point, because understanding the business and the whys behind it is a huge point to make to kids or employees now, because when you're telling them, hey, you got to do it this way, this way, this way, and this way, and they're just looking at you glazed over going, why do I have to do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, you know?
Yeah. I think, like, if we can save, I mean, obviously there's still going to be people who need to flip burgers and, work in retail and all of that kind of thing. But I think if we can teach kids to actually go out there and create and earn and all of that on their own, the skill set that they're going to learn, just the people they'll become, is going to be way better. Right. So, yeah. So I guess that's like, my kids know, like, we compare some of the, because they have businesses now. I got like 4 kids. And I mean, over Christmas, this is a good example. In a month, the kids are selling like light up toys at markets and things just over December and the lead up to Christmas, because it's summer here, right? Like, it's not snowing or anything. It's like nice out.
Right.
And
Right.
And yeah, I think they did just over 30 grand between the 3 of them, right? So
Jesus.
they like had a pretty decent month. And like, I try and explain, like, all their friends have part-time jobs and things and whatever. Like, one of my sons is selling a bunch of stuff on eBay, just products and things that he has. And I'm like, his nana came around the other day. He's like, hey, Trent, maybe you should get a part-time job. He's like, why on earth would I do that? He's like, the hourly rates are stupid. He goes, it's just not worth my time. And I think like that was like a proud parent moment. I was like, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, it is. So I had this conversation quite recently with someone else in the business world, and it's harder and harder. Like, I don't know what Australia has to offer as far as gig work, but over here, like, you can walk a dog for $21 an hour. You can deliver food. You can go shopping for somebody. You can deliver Amazon. You can do whatever your heart's desire. There's an app that is pretty much for that, because COVID has like just even more ramped up laziness in our community. So I don't really want to go to the grocery store, so I'm just going to pay some dude to go do it for me. Like, and literally, like, you can make a living doing this and working your own schedule. So more and more, like, if you talk to any HR department in the world, they're all going, well, now just to get basic low-level employees, we're paying crazy money and not getting the value, like you were saying, because these kids don't have experience. We're trying to mold them and train them and show them the ways of business and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, 100%, like, it's your kid isn't far from the truth. Like, it's like, number one, why would you do that? Why would you go from making 30 grand a month to 10.75 or whatever it's an hour? Like, no, that makes no sense whatsoever. So power to him. That's awesome. Just out of interest, what is he selling? Because that sounds an amazing business right there.
Yeah. So I mean that was in a month they did that. Just December just gone. So they were selling like light up. It was like at a market, like they have like Christmas lights and stuff out, and they just had foot traffic, and they were selling like light up swords and wands and I don't know.
Where are they getting all that stuff? They just kind of find it on Wish or one of those websites.
They could do. I mean, you could probably source it from Alibaba or AliExpress or something like that. So they have bought some extra stock from there. Just prior to COVID, though, we took them over to China, and we did a whole bunch of the kids that were in our like youth and business program. We did a big, massive tour to China before COVID, all that drama, right? Right. And they went to like the Iwi markets over there, which is kind of like the Canton Fair, but all the time. And we took them around. They picked some products and things, and we made sure their margins were all good. And that's what they did. They ended up buying like a ridiculous amount of stock, and just in lots of different things. And so that's what he's selling, some stuff on eBay, some toys and that they like, that they can relate with, that they were selling. And then when they do markets, they'll put a big market. And I think markets are great for kids because they have to learn how to sell and talk to adults. So I just sit there in my like camping chair drinking soda, and I just let them all run it. It's fantastic. So, and then they're like, hey, what are you doing? Child labor, that people will say to me. And I'm like, nah, this is their business, man. I'm just supervising. So, it's fantastic. So
I love it, man. I love it. But I mean, you hear about these people all the time that like are buying In fact, not even 10 minutes before we got online, I was on YouTube, and one of those ads, stop doing what you're doing now. You need to do Alibaba and buy a bunch of crap and sell it for more money. And I'm like, I don't know why that sounds so bad of an idea. But now talking to you, I'm like, well, crap, now I'm going to get on Alibaba and I'm going to get on these sites and I'm going to be like, so what's going to sell really good? Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad idea. I mean, legitimately, like Amazon is a perfect example. Like, people are buying stuff from these sites that you're mentioning, and then they're putting them on Amazon, and they're making 300% profit. And it's because nobody trusts. So what you're doing is you're just basically using trust as a sales tool, because nobody trusts Alibaba. I can tell you right now. And there's a new one now, Temu. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Let's see. Yeah.
Find it. They're gonna love it. It's like $1 or whatever it is, and then they ship you all this stuff, and it's legit stuff. It's actually really good, but nobody trusts it. So then you go and you buy it, and then you think, oh, this is great stuff, and you throw it on Amazon, and then they're basically going, well, I trust it because it's Amazon, and if it, you know what, if it's crap, then Amazon will give me my money back, so it's all good. So literally, that's all it is. It's just a trust thing.
Yeah, so I mean that's really cool. Definitely, there's so many different business models you can play with, right? Like e-commerce, service based, like all of that stuff, which is great. I mean, the reason we did that with the kids is I wanted them to understand. So usually they have all different businesses. So like when Trent was first starting out, I made him go door to door selling because he was just this shy kid, and I was like,
Nice.
this is going to conquer you of that, right? So yeah, he had a whole business. He was just growing herbs in the back garden. He'd package them up. He'd go sell it. He had a subscription going with a few old ladies in the neighborhood who'd just come buy his stuff every week, and he'd drop them off after
Be careful
school.
how you describe those herbs, because in some countries that's illegal. You know that, right?
Yeah, there was no purple flowers on these herbs. So but yeah, so I mean, it was pretty cool, and so that was great. And then it was like, okay, well, let's get them a service-based business. So they did services, and it was like, how let's understand like a product business. So I think it's good for them to try different things and learn different ways of doing
100%. Yeah.
and then they can pick the ones that they like. So yeah, that was an exercise in, hey, let's learn about, costs of good and products and margins and all of that. So yeah.
And so for this outreach, I mean, I love this. This is amazing. Not enough places are doing it. Is this something that people can learn through like an online forum or get some pointers and stuff? Because legitimately, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people that will love to kind of pick your brains, find out some cool tricks, because the lemonade stands are aplenty during the summer. Like it's hot. Everyone's like, hey, a cold lemonade would be amazing. Like, and so kids are already kind of thinking in that mindset. So I think having the parents kind of know a little bit and giving them the guidance, like you just said, about learning different types of business and all that kind of stuff would be amazing.
Yeah, cool. I mean, we have some free training on this. So like if you go to youthinbusiness.com, you'll see that I think we have some free training. You can go watch it. It's just video training whenever you're ready. We give away like 101 great kid business ideas as well. So yeah, the more kids we can help on that journey, then that's fantastic. So
awesome.
Yeah, you can go check it out.
Awesome. And then your own website again is Titan Marketer. Is that right?
Yeah. So the YouTube side of life, if like talking about some of the YouTube stuff we did, if you're interested in any of that, we also have some free training there as well. So you can go check it out.
Yeah.
You can go check that out. And that'll explain sort of some of the details I've been talking about here in a bit more detail. So titanmarketer.com, we're also running some live events and things, but you'll be able to see all the different bits there. And
cool.
Again, we give away some cool free resources and things as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
I love all that. And I love the fact that you're so centered around giving back and allowing people to benefit from the content that you have. It's awesome. Like it really is amazing, because not enough people are really kind of giving people the skills or the knowledge they need to really put their best foot forward, especially since COVID and everything. There's so many small businesses out there that could definitely benefit from the YouTube ads. Kids everywhere. I mean, just the kids thing alone, just because I'm really fearful of what's coming through the ranks right now. Like the kids thing alone is an amazing thing just to give back, just to, give them the knowledge for the future. Because as simple as like making lemonade or selling cookies or whatever could be the difference between like giving them that mindset and the ability to be successful later on in life or not. Because, you know, we are, as parents, we're kind of like, we're very protective, and sometimes we don't give them that like that fear of failure is always like, oh, how are they going to take failure? Like, it's not really failure, it's learning. That's how we learn hot and cold, from burning our hands, or, you know, freezing our hand in an ice cube or whatever. Like, in fact, yeah, it's an experience that I remember all too well from childhood. So it's like, you know, these things live with you. So I think the marketing side and just learning business is a major thing, and schools should really adopt this kind of a program where, I mean, actually in Ireland, they do have something like that. Cause I remember, going through secondary school over there, and they did, it was, you had to go out and find a job. It wasn't like a paid job. It was like an apprentice thing where you went in and you learned about the business, whatever you really wanted to do. I was just lazy. I went to the job that I already had, and I was like, yeah, look, I can't get extra hours. Which is why I'm not a millionaire right now. So that's part of my why. But yeah, you go to businesses, and it's a great idea. So I think more schools need to really adopt that. It's tools for the future. I mean, we're building our own society essentially by giving these kids the education they need to be successful. And it's great people like yourself and your partner in business that really just give the older generation more tools by schooling us on YouTube. Because trust me, YouTube is a daunting tool when you look at it at first. You're like, wait, what? You click the wrong button and all of a sudden you're live, and you're like, oh crap, how do I turn this off? And then next thing you know, how do I delete this video? Now everybody sees me freaking out that I just hit live. It can be daunting. Trust me. It's one of those moments that I've experienced quite recently, actually. So, for sure. So, just for our listeners, titanmarketer.com, and pretty much everything's there. I was just on it while we were chatting, and it has literally all the things that we've been talking about, the industries that you're working with, how to scale with business. You can claim a 45-minute strategy call. Are they actually stuff that you can do internationally as well? Like, are you using maybe FaceTime or something like that, like we're kind of doing? Are you able to do those international calls as well?
So the calls happen like this, basically on Zoom, and we basically, what will happen there is we like to run businesses through like a calculator to make sure they're going to be profitable with YouTube ads before they start. So
cool.
So there's nothing worse than running marketing that doesn't work. So what happens on that call is we need to work out, hey, is marketing going to work for you and what it is that you're selling? And then if not, we'll tell you what you need to do to fix it. If yes, then you get a full plan on what to do next. So
cool. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing. I think both things that you're doing are incredible, just because of, number one, what it means for small businesses across the world who aren't really scaling because of the lack of knowledge they may or may not have for a tool that's been out for quite a while. And then on top of that, just making sure we've less assholes in the world. If I'm being honest, we don't want any more of those. Like, so teaching our kids how to be better business people definitely helps us with that one. Which we've all suffered the barista that just shouldn't be a barista. So I think teaching kids business ideas and showing them the value of hard work really makes a massive difference for the future. So, cool. Sir, I have thoroughly enjoyed this evening's podcast. I thank you so much for being part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Benjamin Jones, an amazing entrepreneur, YouTube marketer, and just all around amazing guy, joining us from Perth, Australia, which is another international amazing podcast that we've done. So definitely reach out to him if you're a small business and you want to learn more about this YouTube stuff. It'll definitely build your business. And it is even for small businesses, and I can't hammer that home enough. The targeting and everything that YouTube can do could literally make or break a business if you're doing it the right way. So Benjamin, thank you again for being part of the show.
Excellent. My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Philip. Hopefully we've been able to help some of the listeners today, and wish you all an awesome rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that has been another Unscripted Perspective. We'll be back again soon with another amazing guest. Until then, go with grace. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to leave us a rating or review on your favorite listening platform.
Be sure to keep in touch with us on Facebook and Instagram at
The Unscripted Perspective.
or you can visit us at
www.theunscriptedperspective.com.